Number 10. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Lefty first appeared in the 6th game of the franchise, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. He is one of the few animatronics you find in the back alley and can salvage for spare parts. This doesn't sound so scary until you play FNAF 6 and realize just what salvaging entails, and you get to see this state that Lefty is in when you find him. Salvaging an animatronic for parts is usually done when that animatronic is no longer considered to be worthy of saving or repairing fully. So you can imagine just what kind of state the animatronics you find and can attempt to salvage from that back alley are in. Not good. Nightmarish.
There's another aspect to your end-of-day routine.
Number 9. Unknown Origins. When you find Lefty in the back alley, the Cassette Man voice recording will share that we do not know where this Lefty came from, as it does with all salvageable animatronics. So what was this messed up version of Lefty up to before it made its way to our establishment in Pizzeria Simulator? Well, Lefty is also an animatronic that you can find in the auction catalog, and has a rock star look to him, implying that he might have been an animatronic from another franchise location who maybe escaped. Also, if you collect him and all of the Rockstar animatronics, you get an achievement for that, saying that you put the Rockstar ones together, so you can assume he's part of the Rockstar crew. Because his first appearance, however, was in FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator, much about his past beforehand remains pretty unknown. So much of it is still relegated to theories and speculation. Although we do get a pretty good little bit of intel in this game if you can find it. Little Easter egg in there. Number 8. Rockstar Freddy? Well, Lefty definitely has some Rockstar Freddy vibes going on, literally looking like a black and red version of Rockstar Freddy down to the shape of his body. He has some slight differences in his appearance. Namely, his nickname Lefty in part comes from the fact that he holds his microphone in his left hand, whereas Rockstar Freddy holds it in his right hand. As I stated previously as well, we don't know Lefty's origins, though it is believed that he was invented or at least modified by William's partner Henry, with the sole purpose of luring and capturing a certain animatronic within him. But which one? Will Amanda tell us more facts? Stay tuned to find out!
In its 7-level guide. As I just mentioned, Helpy is a level guide for all of FNAF VR, including its DLC. He appears on every category of minigame, including but not limited to FNAF 1, FNAF 2, Dark Rooms, Danger Keep Out, and Spooky Mansion. But not only that, this canonically gives Helpy a hell of a lot of powers in the game series. Not only is he a pirate thanks to the Pirate Cove minigame, but he's also a werewolf according to the Afraid of the Dark section of Curse of Dreadbear, a vampire thanks to the Spooky Mansion section, and can be a ghost due to his animation of Danger Keep Out. He also knows his way around electronics in the Vent Repair and Parts and Service minigames. Really goes to show that Helpy is an underrated character that offers more than just neck-snapping sound effects when missing a ball pit during testing. That isn't the ball pit malfunctioning, that's Helpy's neck.
Number 6. High risk, high reward. You'll notice as you acquire items and attractions in Pizzeria Simulator that there is a liability risk with certain items. If you find a Lefty and manage to salvage him, you will earn a net profit of $5,000, which can obviously buy you lots of goodies from the catalogs for your pizzeria. However, if you simply want to acquire your own Lefty for your restaurant, you can find him for purchase for $5 in the Rare Finds auction catalog. Yay! But also, yikes. Lefty is a super high risk item, proving just how dangerous of an animatronic he is. He has a risk rating of 9, but he also has an entertainment value of 9. So high risk, high reward indeed. His liability risk rating gives you the impression that he increases your chance of a lawsuit, simply because he is one of the most likely animatronics, I guess, to attack and possibly kill customers or employees. And he'll also then be free to roam at night and potentially kill or torment you while you attempt to complete your nighttime tasks. Although really the worst case scenario there is if you try to salvage him and he escapes. Then you don't get any money and lots of liability. Number 5. Yellow Eyes. Speaking of FNAF World, in that game, the version of Circus Baby we saw was also different from the main series counterpart in terms of her appearance. This version of Circus Baby had yellow eyes. She appears after the Chica magic rainbow ending is achieved. Baby is one of the Desk Man's creations gone wrong, who ends up becoming his enemy. Some even believed if FNAF World had continued to be updated, we would see her play a more prominent role as a major antagonist in its next update. Number 4. Mysterious. Lefty has an interesting personality when it comes to his behavior. He is very stealthy and creepily quiet, choosing to shh the players before he speaks. Even though you obviously weren't saying anything, why is he shushing? This makes his dialogue more creepy and just makes him a more frightening animatronic in general when compared to some of the others, not just in Pizzeria Simulator but also compared to other animatronic casts from previous games.
And 3. Helpful. In the custom nights of the FNAF games there are some challenges you can try and complete, especially in Sister Location where there are plenty. However, in FNAF 7 Ultimate Custom Night we have to fight against our little happy helper. Helpy though is the only character to have his difficulty decrease in a challenge that is meant to be harder than the previous, meaning that he will actually get easier in between specific levels. Isn't he sweet? In this case I'm talking about the Bear's Attack challenges. In Bear's Attack 1 his AI difficulty is set to 5, in Bear's Attack 2 his AI difficulty is increased to 10, but in Bear's Attack 3 his AI difficulty is decreased back to level 5. He knows we're working too hard and wants to cut us some slack, and it just makes me love him all the more for it. Thank you, Helpy. You help relieve my stress with your sped up MLG gamer and horn and I love you for it. Helpy actually kinda reminds me of my pug.
Number 2. The Puppet Within. While we don't know a ton about Lefty's backstory, something we do know is about the surprise inside of him. The surprise being another animatronic that we've become eerily familiar with since FNAF 2. The Puppet. Possibly one of the most terrifying animatronics of all time. Let me know if you are also terrified of the puppet in the comments below. So yeah, with Lefty it's like 2 animatronics for the price of 1. The horrifying puppet and the super bone-chilling whispery Lefty. Yikes. In fact, that is what Lefty's acronym of a name refers to, the fact that the puppet is encapsulated within it. Lefty appears to have been created to lure and capture the puppet so that Henry could ensure it would return to the pizzeria and he could finally free his daughter's soul trapped within it. Number 1. Music to soothe the savage animatronic. Because Lefty is actually controlled by the puppet, who is in turn possessed by Charlie, Henry's daughter, it's unsurprising that we later learn in Ultimate Custom Night, where Lefty also appears, that music helps to calm this animatronic. Noise and heat agitate Lefty, but to avoid Lefty getting aggravated and jump scaring you, you can turn on the global music box. However, this will drain your power more quickly in Ultimate Custom Night, so it's usually not something you want to leave on all the time. However, this makes a lot of sense for Lefty to be soothed by the music box, which is what keeps the puppet from waking up in FNAF 2. Number 10. Bells on her feet. While Circus Baby seems to be fairly quiet and stealthy in the games, her design actually seems to have a built-in alarm for her to be heard while moving. Although oddly enough, we don't hear or notice it at all in the games. Her feet seem to have little bells on them, or if not bells, as we can't hear them obviously, little shiny gold balls. While many of Circus Baby's specific design features seem to have a purpose, such as her compression pins, these gold balls' function remain unknown. We do not yet know for sure if they have some unspecified purpose or are merely a design choice and purely aesthetic. Number 9. Her eye color. Circus Baby's eye color is very important, and not just the change that happens to it when she becomes possessed by Elizabeth Afton's spirit. No sir. Circus Baby's eyes were of course originally blue, but we do see them change to green after Circus Baby consumes Elizabeth. This is obviously meant to symbolize Elizabeth's spirit remaining within Circus Baby, trapped there, but also in a way changing her personality and possessing her. Green eyes seem to be something Scott Cawthon is obsessed with, or just he likes them, as they tend to also pop up all over the place in the books, and eye color itself is very much focused on. So it should be noted that Circus Baby and Elizabeth aren't the only ones with green eyes, but Vanessa, the security guard from the newest game, Security Breach, also has green eyes as well. And friends, before we move on to our number 8 spot, just a quick reminder to give this video a thumbs up if you like FNAF and you want some more FNAF videos from us. Who doesn't? Number 8. Blueprints. Get ready for a whole lot of scary, cause this fact is pretty wild. Fans were quick to point out after getting a look at Circus Baby's blueprints that there seemed to be something hidden in her torso. Can you see it? If you look closely, you can see what appears to be a child in a fetal position within her chest cavity. Are our eyes playing tricks on us, or is this legit? We do have a tendency to see things that aren't really there when it comes to faces and bodies, and yet this seems too creepy and relevant to be a coincidence. Also, watch out, because Circus Baby doesn't seem to be the only animatronic who has this feature. Number 7, but first you'll need to lose an eye and an arm. Okay, so Lefty doesn't actually have any specific relation to Foxy, but I just like that song that Foxy sings, and I like Foxy, and I thought it was fitting, considering that Lefty does seem to be missing at least an eye, although he's still got an arm, so he's not quite a pirate yet. I'm not sure if it is because he got in a scrap with Foxy, or if he wants to be a pirate, or if he was perhaps just designed that way, or just not kept in good working order, but his missing eye is pretty freaky, especially as the empty socket and eyelid are still very visible there. The only thing that would be more creepy in my opinion is if he managed to be missing both and still operate somehow. Something about an animatronic with their eyes just like gouged out, staring deeply into my soul, just really gives me those spooky feels. Number 6, her allegiance. We've talked about Circus Baby's villainous intentions, and we've talked about her good intentions as well. So what side is Baby really on? To understand that, we need to take a closer look at her motivations in the games. Overall, it seems like she wants to be free and will attempt to get what she wants at any cost. This might also imply that on a subconscious level, wanting to be free actually means more than escaping her captivity at Circus Baby Entertainment and Rental. The desire for freedom might also be coming from Elizabeth's spirit, who longs to finally move on following her death. This makes Circus Baby more complex than just being lumped into a villain or a hero category. If anything, this makes her initially at least an anti-hero with villainous tendencies. After all, in Sister Location, she attempts to help the other animatronics as well, but of course has to do some pretty unsavory things to do so. However, once Circus Baby becomes Scrap Baby in the games, she reveals that she really is the big bad when she confesses her desire to consume as many souls as possible. Oh boy.
Halfway through number 5, appearance. Helpy has a very similar appearance to Funtime Freddy from Sister Location. He has a white body with purple accents on his snout, palms, stomach, feet, and inside ear. He has rosy red cheeks like his crush just talked to him, and he has a black bow tie, buttons, and top hat. And nose. He's very reminiscent of the Funtime Freddy from FNAF World, because that was such a good game that we need to keep around. But since he's so small, it's hard to get a lot of detail in there. I mean, he's small, but not tiny. He has blue eyes like most of the Sister Location animatronics, but he's missing Funtime Freddy's signature bonbon on his right hand, and instead has 4 fingers on each hand. He also has buck teeth, perfect for cracking open a cold one with the boys, because you know that despite his short stature, Helpy is definitely a heavy drinker. His species is literally miniature toy, and I'm not mad about it. I kinda want a Helpy plush because he's actually fairly cute, even if he will send you through hell in the Pirate Ride minigame.
Number 4, To Be Beautiful. Some believe that Circus Baby is actually the animatronic who claims to be named Eleanor in the story To Be Beautiful, out of the book Fazbear Frights number 1. Whether or not you believe the books to be canon, you have to admit that Eleanor does bear a strong resemblance to Circus Baby. She does appear thinner and taller, more grown up looking than Baby, but it is possible Circus Baby is using her pins here to manipulate her appearance. After all, Circus Baby herself is actually 6 feet tall, or I think a little bit above that. She might even be 6'9" actually. So she herself is really tall and could be using her compression pins to alter her shape here. If it is true that Eleanor is indeed Circus Baby, this means that Baby isn't only capable of changing her appearance, but is also able to change the appearance of others too, like she did with Sarah in the story, performing surgery on her while she slept, swapping out her human parts for junkyard ones. Number 3, actually it's Lefty. Lefty might seem like a cute name for an animatronic. It's catchy and seems pretty innocent, right? But Lefty's name isn't really that innocent when you look into it. Lefty is actually just a nickname for this shiny and fancy animatronic. His full name is actually a lot longer and doesn't have a Y at the end. Lefty is actually Left-E with an E at the end. Or really, if we were saying it how it was spelt, Left, which is a lot less exciting and isn't actually a complete name for him. As I said, it's a lot longer than you think because Lefty is actually an acronym for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract. The acronym of course was used to create the nickname Lefty, which is much less suspicious and scary sounding. We find out the truth behind Lefty's name in the blueprints that can be found if you manage to unlock them on the computer in your office. Number 2. Heather Masters. Heather Masters is the one responsible for providing Circus Baby's voice in Sister Location. And while Circus Baby is seemingly gone from the world, being burnt up, it should be noted that Heather Masters will still be doing voice work for the game franchise, loaning her voice to that of the security guard in Security Breach, Vanessa. I'm not saying that this means anything. I mean, it could just be that Scott Cawthon really loves Heather's voice and working with her. But like the green eyes belonging to Circus Baby and Elizabeth that I mentioned before, this is just another connection we can draw from Circus Baby and the Aftons to Vanessa. Number 1, possible return? This isn't so much of a fact as a theory, but hey, a lot of our facts in FNAF often start out as theories that are either confirmed or denied by the story that we follow in the game. So take this one with a grain of salt, but keep in mind that it could possibly be true, or some of it could be true at least. Some think that Vanessa and Vanny could be the same person, which could very well be true, and their names are super similar as well. But what if this is a mislead and Vanessa is also, or is instead, a relative of the Aftons? What if she is Circus Baby who somehow survived with Elizabeth's soul intact and is assuming a human form? Or what if she is Elizabeth and Michael's mom and William Afton's wife? It's possible that we could see the return of Circus Baby in Security Breach somehow, given that we know Heather Masters is involved and the connection of those green eyes with a storyteller who often uses eye color to connect the dots for us. I'm just saying, Scott's all about eye color, so it's gotta mean something, right? Right?
In a 10 Little Freddy. We all know Helpy as Helpy, that's his name. However, looking at the files from FNAF 6, we can see the original name for Helpy. You ready for this? I don't think your body is able to handle this. Okay, drum roll please! Little Freddy. Yeah, it's literally named after a euphemism for a dong. This was shown off on Reddit after someone was going through the game files, and there was a link to an Imager file, and that's basically it. That's the number. Helpy's name was originally Little Freddy until later on. There was technically no name. Until at least... And at number 9, no name. Helpy's name is mentioned nowhere in the game. The only reason he has a name is because Scott confirmed it in an update notes from the game. Until that point, people were just calling him by made-up names, since, like I said, it gets mentioned nowhere. But for some reason, this seems to happen fairly often from my experience. It could be that Scott just named him that because people were calling him that, but when I was watching the Yogscast play The Forest, they ended up calling one of the mutants Armsy, and that ended up being the mutant's name. This could also explain why Helpy was known as Little Freddy in the files, since he never was really meant to have a name, until Scott had to update it, you know? And in 8 VR. FNAF VR had a whole cast of animatronics, like a montage of their greatest hits, more so than Ultimate Custom Night. That's right, I said it. No matter what, there are quite a few animatronics absent from that game, including the entire cast of FNAF 6. Sure, a couple of them had a cameo, most notably Scrap Baby as one of the plush babies, but the only FNAF 6 animatronic to make a full appearance is Helpy. He appears to show you the levels and minigames, but he can also appear behind the monitor of the level select, but also in FNAF 2's filing cabinet. It will honestly probably scare the hell out of you because you're not used to it, plus Helpy is freaking huge and in your face at this point. And I mean, like, Helpy himself isn't really that scary, but when he's frozen in your face and has a foot glitching through the table, it's bound to be at least a little scary.
Number 7, killed Henry! But not really. This all went down in FNAF World, which is non-canon and of course is all speculative. People think the desk man who appears to either end his own life or be killed by Baby is Henry. And of course that Circus Baby in FNAF World likely killed him of those two options that are possible. There are a few reasons why people assume Deskman is Henry, one of them being that his death seems similar to the version that we see in the FNAF story, The Silver Eyes. Of course, people also believe that the Circus Baby that we see in this game is some other model of the animatronic and not the same one that we see in Sister Location. Still, she's a version of Circus Baby, so this still seems like a relevant fact to keep in mind. Could come up later. As things from FNAF World or the novels could end up being inspiration for stuff that happens in the main series of games.
And at 6 FPS. The frame rate of Helpy's animation in FNAF 6 is very low. There are only 4 frames per each animation, whether it's when he's fishing or about to jump into a ball pit, anything really. The only time Helpy has a smooth animation is in FNAF 6, when he's riding the rocket ship in the Riding Rockets minigame. These animations are smoother and have more frames, so he's able to move around quite well, especially when he's playing the game. The stopping animation is a little choppy and another one of the animations is a little janky, but for the most part it's actually pretty solid. I don't know why this is a thing, like why his animations are slow unless it's for this minigame, but I thought it was a pretty interesting fact. And isn't that what this list is all about?
Number 5. Aggressive. If you do choose to salvage Lefty when you find him in the back alley, be warned he can be aggressive. And if he gets too aggressive, he will jump scare you. You will live, but this will mean you miss out on that $5,000 reward you get for salvaging him, and mean that he is now loose in your restaurant just waiting to attack you. Not ideal.
And at 4, honk. We all know the signature honk of the FNAF games. Whenever you click on Freddy's nose on a poster or whatnot, we always get a lovely honk. It serves as a tension breaker in an otherwise horrifying and stressful game. And in FNAF 6, we thought we would have lost it. However, Helpy came to the rescue since we can use his cute little button nose as our booping outlet and relieve some of the tension brought on by this game. This is the first time an actual animatronic has been used to get the honk, since in Sister Location, it was just Psychic Friend Fredbear. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic Friend Fredbear. I'm sorry, I have to do it every time. But actually, I think I'm gonna call Helpy instead. That's right, I said it. I don't need some freaky Freddy doll that wants to take over my life. No, I'd rather have a lovable tiny bear animatronic that will smother me in my sleep. At least he'll do it with love.
Number 3. Dead Now. During the end of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, Circus Baby reveals her true, very villainous intent to consume as many souls as possible, hoping to continue her father's work. However, her victory is cut short when it is then communicated by Henry that he intended to bring her and the other animatronics here, luring them so that he could free the souls residing within them through destroying them and the pizzeria. The pizzeria is burnt down to the ground, ending the evil of the animatronics for good, and freeing the souls trapped within them, including that of Elizabeth Afton. At least, that's how it seems.
In it too, Quiet Boy. In Ultimate Custom Night, Helpy will jump scare you, however he doesn't actually end the game. Instead, he's described as increasing the noise meter so your run can be ended because of another animatronic, the Music Man or something like that. However, despite this being in the character description, he doesn't actually raise the noise meter. He sounds off an air horn, but he doesn't, since he's never really holding one. This makes me think it's some form of hallucination or Cassidy messing with your head. Fun fact, this is actually the sound my heart makes when I get jump scared in a FNAF game. The slightly sped up version of the MLG Gamer meme horn. And yes, that is actually what the sound is, I'm not even kidding. Yeah. Finally, in at number 1, Security Breach. Helpy was actually in the Security Breach trailer, I'm not even kidding. I mean, the animatronic wasn't there, but Helpy's face was. During the shot of the kitchen in the reveal trailer, the introduction of the Moon Man animatronic, we were too distracted to see Helpy's face on a barrel to the right of the screen. The barrel has the text torque fraction toil. I don't know what the fraction is, but there is a small character, a slash, and then another character underneath, so it has to be some form of fraction. Helpy's face is plastered on the side, and this will probably be his only appearance, unfortunately, which kinda sucks, cause like, Helpy's cute. I mean, I don't know what he would do in this game. I mean, like, he could help you, perhaps. I don't know, maybe Glam Rock Freddy is gonna be just a really big version of Helpy. I don't know. I kinda want that. I mean, that would be weird, but I'd want it. In at 10, digital. The Five Nights at Freddy series has been for the most part set in some form of reality. Sure, it may be a reality where intense agony causes you to possess an animatronic after you die, but technically there is an earth where that's true. However, even if there is now a serial killer trying to escape a video game that he was put in after his soul latched onto a hard drive that got scanned for code, there is something that I didn't quite understand. How did Helpy do that same thing? In Pizzeria Simulator, Helpy was merely a digital creation, only being present in the flesh as a literal toy on your monitor. But in Help Wanted and Ultimate Custom Night, he's there. How? Well, he's actually technically not there. FNAF VR is merely a game about you testing a VR game, so that's also the digital world. And Helpy doesn't have a physical form. And in FNAF Ultimate Custom Night, you're inside William's mind, since thanks to the man in room 1280, we know he wasn't dead, just merely in a coma. So that's not the real world either. Helpy is one of, if not the only animatronic to be completely digital with no real world animatronic counterpart, only toys. That's pretty interesting. And at 9, merch. Since Helpy is merely a pack of digital code, he doesn't really do anything with the kids. Sure, he may be present on some rides, like the pirate ride from FNAF VR, but we don't know if that game was released to the public. It could still be testing, because the company that took it over could have just not released it. So the kids could very well not know who Helpy is, in universe at least. So why is he on merch? He's on the barrel from Security Breach as I talked about in the last part, but he's also on a baseball cap in Help Wanted. You can see this at the prize corner, or in fact, when you're repairing Freddy in the parts in the service minigame. Yeah, that baseball cap that you take out of Freddy's mouth at the very start of his level has Helpy on it. You just either didn't check because you were understandably terrified or because it was too dark for you to see. I don't know why he's on merch unless maybe they put him around the newer locations to help kids like find the bathroom and whatnot, but even if that is the case, why would a kid want the toilet bear on their hat? Just a friendly reminder, if you're enjoying the video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more people see the video because the algorithm is a perfectly balanced game with no exploits and lets us know what you want to see more of. And because Helpy. And at 8, Funtime Freddy! Funtime Freddy is one of the most beloved FNAF characters from my experience, having to talk about Bachelor number 1 in multiple different Funtime Freddy fact videos. Go check those out, they're up in the top right corner. So it's no wonder that an essentially smaller version of him would capture so many hearts, and then even more. The actual appearance of the animatronics, with the exception of size, is basically identical. Their main bodies are white with purple accents like their feet, stomachs, snouts, and hands. They have rosy red cheeks, and a black bow tie, hat, buttons, and nose. Not to mention big ol' blue eyes. Sucker. I'm a sucker for them. Helpy may be a little more rotund, but other than that, they're basically the same, ignoring the fact that Helpy doesn't have a bonbon. They're especially similar when looking at Funtime Freddy's FNAF World counterpart, which is in similar size to Helpy. I mean, Helpy's face doesn't pull apart in order to swallow kids, but isn't that why we love him? And it's 7, Identity Crisis. Speaking of theories, Vanessa is widely seen as the actual human version of Vanny. I mean, human in the sense that we see her face and that she's actually, like, has a life, you know? The Vanny we know is just a servant, so in some ways a robot for William Afton, but not an actual robot, you know? Well, anyway, we seem to have a bit of an identity crisis on our hands, because she knows that she is possessed or controlled by William, as we can tell thanks to the emails from Security Breach once again, since Louis, the pretty creepy IT guy, asks why Ness, presumably Vanessa, searched for help by itself after looking things up that we know are William Afton based at the very least, if not him looking for them up through her. So we know she knows there is an issue. However, does she know what the issue is, or does she think that she's just losing time a lot? Only one way to find out. Wait for the game. And at 6, he could be a crossover. This admittedly is getting into a little bit of a speculation zone, but fact is that it's entirely plausible that Helpy is a crossover between the main series games, FNAF 1 to Security Breach, and FNAF World. I know Scott wanted to forget about FNAF World, but let's look at the facts. FNAF World set up the hints we used to get the good ending in FNAF 3, thus having an impact on the outside world. The whole game is about games interacting with the real world, something which is becoming more and more prevalent within the main series now, with Glitch Trap and him taking over Vanny and trying to escape the VR game. Not to mention the similarity Helpy has with the FNAF World characters, and the fact that, as previously mentioned, Helpy is an entirely digital character, not having a real physical form aside from toys or merchandise, meaning he could very well exist in the FNAF World game, and he could be trying to contact us in order to help us defeat Afton, as the name Helpy suggests. And his role in FNAF AR could be his first appearance to show us that Afton can't escape the game, and he could tell us how to stop him. The evidence may be a theory, but the fact of the matter is that he could be a crossover. It's a fact that it's possible. So, haha, I win. Halfway through number 5, plan. Vanny has a plan. We may not know it yet, but she has a plan and is currently acting on it. She needs Gregory for something, since she has selected one, but she also needs other things. The animatronics on her side, William wants us to bring him what he wants, but what is that thing? Is it us? Is it an animatronic body? Could the Stitch Wraith just be an animatronic building itself up so William can use it as a body? Is that what she needs to find, or will any animatronic endoskeleton work? The entirety of her plan is obscured to us, only letting us know hints as to what the grand plan to resurrect William Afton is, if that is even her true plan. She could be trying to eliminate him once and for all, but is doing so from the inside for all we know. And at 4, not possessed. Helpy is not a possessed animatronic. He can't be. He has no physical form. Helpy doesn't act ill towards the player unless it's an ultimate custom night, but even then he doesn't kill. This also works since he's basically a mini version of Funtime Freddy to show that Funtime Freddy isn't possessed, since people were assuming that he was since he's an animatronic in the FNAF games, which, to be fair, is actually a good assumption at this point, but, like, come on. We saw no evidence of that. Scott said that he likes to clear things up in his next game. We saw it in FNAF 4 at a sister location where he confirmed that FNAF 4 took place in 1984 with the secret camera password. And this could be him clearing up that Funtime Freddy, and even maybe by extension the others, with the exception of Baby, aren't possessed either. I know there's gonna be people in the comments saying that they are possessed, but whatever. Helpy cannot be possessed, and if you think he is, then you need to remember that he is computer code. Sure, Afton can possess a game, but he possessed the whole game itself, not the code of an individual animatronic. And at 3, fighting back. Vanessa, however, is fighting back against William's control. Not only does she try and search for help as indicated by FNAF AR emails, but she is also resisting his control to begin with, since he ends up searching for ways to induce compliance in human subjects. We learn about this also thanks to those FNAF AR emails. So there could be a happy ending to this game yet. William is losing control over Vanny, hence why he needs the animatronics, and hell, maybe as Vanny he made a Vanny robot to control since he was losing his grip over Vanessa. Is this the way that Scott ends the game? Will Vanessa be successful in breaking free of William's grasp? Probably not, because it's Scott and he loves to make us cry. And scare the hell out of us. That too. In it 2 demo. Released on June 21st, 2018, Scott took to his Steam community page to announce that Ultimate Custom Night had released a demo. However, when downloaded, it turned out to be Scott's 4th troll game. It was merely a reskin version of Doofus the Dinosaur, Scott's very first computer game. I mean, it's a smart tactic. Make one of your less popular games into a demo for your more successful series. It's like when mod authors make another mod that's dependent on one of their previous failed mods so that people will have to download it. Basically, the game was the same thing, but with FNAF characters instead. The main character, Doofus, having Freddy's head, and the enemies being various animatronic characters. On level 6, Helpy is introduced, making you need to destroy 20 of him while collecting 6 coins and destroying 3 Mr. Hippo enemies as well. Why would you destroy Helpy? It's not much, but it's still kind of fun that Helpy was such a smash hit that he got put into a troll game. That really means you've made it. Finally, in at number 1, Buff Helpy. You knew it. You knew it was coming. That's why you clicked on the video. Buff Helpy first appeared in Daco's FNAF meme review series, and ever since then it was absolutely terrifying. Buff Helpy is just Helpy's face photoshopped onto some buff guy, and this thing haunts my dreams. According to Buff Helpy enthusiast on Urban Dictionary, Buff Helpy is, quote, a who loves stalking the YouTuber Daco and somehow always makes his way into Daco's FNAF meme reviews. In a sentence, Buff Helpy is best boy. No, Buff Helpy is not best boy. He is worst boy. I'd rather deal with the gotcha FNAF fandom. Yeah, and the ones who consider all FNAF Minecraft music videos to be canon lore to the series. And then, Urban Dictionary has the audacity, the nerve, the balls to ask me if I wanted to get a Buff Helpy mug for my cousin Helena. No! I'll get one for myself, thank you. Screw Helena, she doesn't appreciate Helpy like I do. She doesn't appreciate it. She doesn't. He's mine. And the 10 reluctant follower. Vanny is known as the Reluctant Follower, at least she was known as the Reluctant Follower at first, since the listing for the character on voices.com was Reluctant Follower, as to not spoil anything. And we know this is a real role thanks to Scott leaving Jessica Tang a splendid review saying she was very professional and he hopes to work with her again. And going over one of her voice demo lines called Video Game Demo, Scared, Frightened, Afraid, Young, Female, Follower, Obedient, we can clearly tell that the voice is meant to be Vanny, since the line goes, I understand. I'll do just as you ask, and yes, I've already selected one. Which goes back to the conversation we see on ScottGames.com's source code between Vanny and Glitchtrap, the one I said at the beginning of the video, where he tells her to stay the course and asks if she's selected one. The one in this case is probably going to be Gregory, unless he's simply a means to an end. And at 9, tampering. Vanny has been tampering with the animatronics, uploading Glitchtrap's AI into them, but apparently missing Freddy, maybe skipping because he's the main man that everyone checks on. This is confirmed by emails and special delivery which talk about someone tampering with the animatronics. We don't know what virus she's uploading to these animatronics. It could very well be one that she made, but it could also be the main Glitchtrap virus that she herself is infected with. There are theories saying that she only messed with Roxanne and Monty and left Chica and Freddy out of it, which is interesting, but so far all we know is that she messed with some of the animatronics, and now they can't be controlled or even sometimes found. Since these emails came from Special Delivery, a game with out-of-control animatronics, it's easy to dismiss these as about those, but it makes even more sense for the emails to be about the animatronics we see in Security Breach. We shouldn't really even have access to these emails anyway, so why couldn't they be about something completely different? If you're enjoying this video, do me a favor and give this video a big ol' thumbs up so I don't have to upload my consciousness into your brain. You think that I'm an actual person? No, I'm a virus that's infiltrated these YouTube videos. Plus it lets me know what you want to see more of, so more likes means more FNAF. And at 8, theories. There are plenty of theories about the character of Vanny. Some think that she's a separate person, some think that she has multiple personalities, some think that she's a robot, others have more sense. There are hundreds of Vanny theories all guessing different things, and any of them could be true, and multiple could be true at once. Vanny could have two versions, a suit version for Vanessa and a robot version Vanessa chases to make herself seem innocent. She could have multiple personalities, and she could end up splitting into two people in the game, since apparently anything goes in this series now, and many more. There is no way of telling what will happen, but it's interesting and fun to talk about, as long as people don't treat anything but there being theories as a fact. And at 7, FNAF AR. In an interview between Daco and Kieran, Helby was revealed to be in FNAF AR Special Delivery in December of 2020, but to my knowledge nothing has been added that has to do with Helby. Plus, according to the FNAF fandom page, Helby is supposed to have a major role. I mean, he was announced in December, and it's been around 3 or 4 months since then, depending on the day of the interview, but if it's not on the wiki, I won't know because I haven't played Special Delivery. So please feel free to let me know down below if Helby has actually been added to Special Delivery and if he has a major role. And who knows, maybe this will be the first game we see him have a real-world counterpart. And at 6, Red Eyes. When we see Vanny's jump scare in the reveal trailer and when we see her in the gameplay trailer, both jumping down the corridor and behind the staff sign, we see the mask has glowing red eyes. The confusing part is, how are her mask's eyes glowing red? There could be LEDs behind them, but that would make it really difficult to see out of. It could be an indication of being controlled by Glitch Trap, hell it probably is, but that still doesn't explain why it's happening. I guess perhaps since Glitch Trap is a virus she was infected with, he doesn't really need to use her eyes, or he could just be using the eyes of the suit. It could also be that this is just actually a robot version of Vanny that is chasing us with red eyes. But the movement is too realistic for even FNAF animatronics, so I'm probably going to keep that on the back burner. Let me know your theories down below, but she does have glowing red eyes. That's a fact, Jack. Halfway through at number 5, clipping. Clipping is a normal thing in video games. Plants poking through walls, a character model being a bit too tall and poking through the ground, collision boxes not being set properly. However, Helby is one hell of a clipping fiend, which makes sense given that he's entirely digital. However, over the 3 games he's been in, he's had clipping issues in all 3 of them. In FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator, his first appearance, in the Ball Pit Tower minigame, when failing to get the prize ball, Helby's clips through the yellow ladder, making him look like he's got a pole up his. In its ultimate custom night distraction jump scare, you can see the white of his head model behind his teeth, as if the lower jaw was pushed in too much when creating the model. And in FNAF VR, the Helby that appears behind the monitor uses the same model that you can unlock with 25 Faz coins, and because of this, Helby's foot clips through the table that the monitor is on. I don't know why Helby has such a fascination with clipping. Maybe he's trying to be a Twitch streamer. Oh, burn! I don't know why I'm making fun of that I stream on Twitch. Clip that. And at 4, suit. The suit Vanny wears is very clearly a suit, meant to be in a similar style to the Glitch Trap suit, which suggests that William made it during one of his mind melds, where Vanessa went to sleep and he took over. The suit is patchy, with different materials and fabrics and sewn patches over certain places like the legs and arms. It's unknown if these are because of cuts or rips to the original suit, or if it's because they didn't have enough fabric to cover those sections. The stitching all over the body suggests that it is definitely a suit to be worn, but like, my thing is, if you're trying to catch Gregory, why dress in a creepy suit? Why not just make a, wait for it, normal mask and be a normal killer? I mean, like, I guess technically it's William. William Afton is a furry confirmed, okay? He could just be normal, but he chose to make a new suit. You're not even in your own body, dude. If you get caught, you don't go to prison. She does. Like, what? Why did you have to make another furry suit? William Afton is a furry confirmed, 100%. It's the only explanation. And at 3, glitch out. In the last part, I mentioned how most of Helby's animations in FNAF 6 have 4 frames. What I didn't mention, however, is that sometimes, for unknown reasons, this animation can play at hyperspeed, which may sound good, right? More frames per second means a smoother animation. And while normally correct, you still need to have enough frames for that second. If not, it freaks the hell out. And since normally this would run at 4 FPS, there are only 4 frames. Increase that to 24 frames a second, and this man looks like he's in a group fight in a cartoon. You know, the big cloud of smoke when hands poke out every so often? Yeah, because those 4 frames have to repeat multiple times in that second. He'll start spasming all over the place and you'll probably be scared for your life. It's apparently unknown why this happens, but like, there can't be many reasons as to why, unless it's intended because Scott just likes to mess with us and try to scare us. Or maybe the frames are some sort of Morse code when it speeds up. Maybe I need to screenshot and increase the contrast to... See what you've done to me, Scott? Me and countless others. And at 2, human masks. There is one particularly interesting email I saw from FNAF AR Special Delivery that was sent by none other than our IT stalker Louis and refers to Vanessa buying 3 realistic human male masks. Louis asks if they're for a screenplay, and unless that's a hint of what's going on with the FNAF movie, that's definitely wrong, my dude. The 3 masks could be put over animatronic robots was my first thought, kind of like a Michael skin suit situation, where it would be an endoskeleton but with realistic facial features and a thirst for blood. I don't really know what else 3 realistic male masks could be for. Like, honestly, like, do you have another explanation? Leaving them around to scare people? Covering them with blood and then leaving them around to scare people? Maybe it's to trick William into thinking she has Gregory? I honestly don't know why these masks were mentioned and nobody seems to be talking about them, so I had to bring it to your attention. Please help me figure out this one in the comments below. Maybe we can make like a community post about it or something and have a whole discussion based on it. Should we do that? Should we do like more like community posts about theories so we can collaboratively work on them, you know? I don't know, that sounds like a good idea to me. Would you want that? Let me know. Finally, number 1, firsts. Vanny, assuming she is truly Vanessa, which the evidence seems to point to, is actually making way for everyone in the FNAF series, women and security guards alike. Vanessa is the first female night guard ever in the series. Thanks to the paychecks at the end of the other games, we know the characters in those are male, excluding FNAF VR since that's just redoing other games. In the first, it's Mike. Don't forget about Jeremy and Fitz. In Sister Location, we know we play as Michael, and FNAF 4, we probably play as the Crying Child, even though he isn't actually a security guard for anything other than his room. Vanessa is also the first night guard to have a face, a physical form that we get to see. Every other time in the series, we're the security guards, so we only assume that they look like us, since, you know, it's us we're playing. It's normal. And Michael doesn't really count because that's 8-bit. And Vanny specifically is the first main antagonist that attacks the player to not have some form of robotic part. In FNAF 1 and 2, it was the animatronics. In FNAF 3, it was Springtrap, who isn't an animatronic since he was still alive, but he did have robot parts helping him move. In FNAF 4 it was the Nightmares, and in Sister Location it was Baby. FNAF 6 had every animatronic, and the same with Ultimate Custom Night. Sure, Glitchtrap isn't an animatronic in FNAF VR, but he doesn't attack and jump scare us. Vanny, however, will. You go, girl! Make way for women in the FNAF series. I support it. What a queen. Ignoring the fact that she's gonna murder me.